Okay, Miss Bridgewater, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can. Can you hear me in your?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm unfortunately, let me see.
Are you able to hear me? I can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Judge, you on mute. Well, he signed back off.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on with my device this afternoon. Miss Bridgewater, the SAP reset date, please.
April 29th.
29th. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're offering you the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Courtroom 2, good afternoon. Who do we have first?
We are position number 6, Mr. Garrett.
Good afternoon, Mr. Garrett. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001946E with loitering and prowling. Is there a history?
With the rest, got an open entering auto out of done with it. Open shoplifting and giving false name out of assembly and appears to be homeless.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sirocco, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. Mr. Howard, could I get the dates for those?
Oh, I didn't put them down.
Oh, okay. We had the wrong SID on our end, but
Hold on for me. I'll look it up while you go though.
yeah. Thank you. Judge, this incident took place April 11th, the evening of April 11th through the 12th, 2025 at 240 First Drive, FERST, in Atlanta, which is one subsection of the Georgia Tech campus. It's the Phi Mu sorority building. Law enforcement responded after receiving a report of a suspicious male on the front porch of the FIMU sorority residence. Officers canvassed the area and were advised that the individual they were seeking entered one of the parking decks, moving down Cherry Street and into the loading dock and onto the Georgia Tech Green. The individual later identified as the defendant was located in the middle of Tech Green when they found him. And when approached by officers, he refused to identify himself, stated he didn't have to provide his ID to police. And he claimed he was on campus with a friend who was a student, but when officers checked the school database, there was no record of that individual. Also, when asked if he had any affiliation with the university, he stated he did not. Nonetheless, the state's requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, stay away from all Georgia Tech premises and property, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and a social worker visit we think would be appropriate as well. It's all for the state.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Chitai.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I have no objection to the state's recommendations.
And does he need a social worker visit to assist with housing?
Yes, he told me as much, and I asked one of our social workers to visit him today, or as early as possible. So that has been communicated to our social workers.
Okay, thank you. There'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail, a social worker visit to assist with housing, stay away from the Georgia Tech campus, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Garrett.
How y'all doing today?
Good. Courtroom one, let's see, you have the person who needs the Portuguese interpreter there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's representing that person?
That's my case, Judge Morrow.
And do you need to speak with him? I take it, Mr. Chitai?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so good afternoon, Madam Interpreter. If we can place Madam Interpreter along with Mr. Chitai and courtroom one into a breakout room, please. And while
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay, and while we do that, courtroom two, if you can have Mr. McLean's cases for us.
Okay, so we'll start with our position number, I guess number 12, Mr. Ruff.
That's Zykel or Zekel Ruff.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Ruff. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001972F with giving false information to law enforcement and giving false name, address, or birth date to law enforcement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
23. Resident out of Macon, wanted out of Bibb County and Worth County. On probation in Bibb for aggravated assault. Got an open giving false name out of Worth County. That's all, dude, for the most part.
Okay. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This is an incident that took place yesterday, April 14th, 2025 at 3511 Roxborough Road in Atlanta. Law enforcement actually responded to a person shot call at a nearby address, and upon arrival, the officer was flagged down by the victim, Mr. Thomas Maiolo, who explained that an unknown male had shot him at a house up the street that he visits. He had a gunshot wound to his upper left thigh. He was bleeding. He didn't want to provide further information because the suspect had his backpack and his personal information. He was afraid for his life. The officer followed the blood trail to 3511 Roxborough Road and observed through the window, shell casing, a book bag, and blood. They breached exigent circumstances looking for additional victims. And ultimately, the defendant was located hiding on the roof of the residence. He was detained, and when asked for his identification, he provided a false name and false date of birth to law enforcement. Rayshard Mims with a birthday that's close to his, but not his. They found a firearm there in the residence. He does have a willful obstruction of law enforcement by use of threats or violence conviction from 2019, battery conviction 2023, assault conviction 2018, and also a giving false information arrest. So at least another criminal case out of Monroe County from 2018. But I have here that it looks like he has active hold out of Bibb County and Jones County for, let's see, he's wanted it was Macon for a probation violation. I'm assuming they don't really specify in the history there, but simple assault and it looks like failure to appear on January 3rd, 2025. That's either Bibb or Jones County, I believe. So given the January 3rd, 2025 FTA, his law enforcement related offenses, and the violent origins of this case, for which there's still an investigation pending as to the shooter. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond on both counts. Stay away from 3511 Roxborough Road, Atlanta. I think no further contact with Thomas Maiolo is appropriate here. That's Maiolo. Surrender all firearms to the sheriff's office and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Honor. 32-year-old Mr. Ruff is a person who drives trucks. He drives 8 and 24-foot straight trucks. They are box trucks, but nonetheless, he drives them over the road for a large trucking net for years. He's in 11th grade, through the 11th grade in Howard County, which is part of the Bibb County school system. And he asked for to consider a signature bond under these circumstances.
It'll be a $500 good bond on each charge, makes for a $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Maiolo. Stay away from the Roxbury Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ruff.
You're good.
Who do we have next?
We'll go with ACDC if they're ready over there.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow.
Afternoon, Francois. How are you?
Pretty good in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Who do we have?
Position number 2, Ms. Cofer.
Good afternoon, Ms. Kofer. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender or conflict attorney this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Kofer, you've been charged in case 25 CR 001966F with 2 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth, 2015 DUI conviction, 2014 reckless conduct arrest, and 02 marijuana dead docket.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
Thank you. Your Honor, this incident took place on September 14th, 2024, at 2006 Fairgrove Lane. Police responded to a call for a dispute. The complainant, Deja Kofer, who's the victim, stated that she was in a physical altercation with her mother. She stated that she was sleeping prior to her mother coming home, which is the incident location, and she woke up to her mother yelling in another room. She went to go check on her mother, who was in the living room, and they were discussing a situation that had happened prior. And that's when the defendant grabbed her by her hair and started to drag her around. Ms. Kofer stated that she did not want to fight her mother, so she didn't attempt to fight back. At the time of the incident, the officers were unable to get a consistent story from the defendant, and they noticed that she was slurring her speech. So she advised them that she had been drinking earlier before the incident occurred. Officers observed injuries on Mrs. Kofer, which included scratches on her face, forehead, cheek. And she also had visible bleeding and scratches on her hands, as well as a bald spot in the back of her head area, along with bruising as well. We did speak with Mrs. Kofer today. She stated that her and the defendant are no longer living together and are on good terms. Based on that, the state's current recommendation is a signature bond with no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. While on bond, the state advises for no further violent contact. We would like to sound for the victim, Ms. Deja Kofer. That'll be all.
If Ms. Kofer is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Yes, this is me.
Yes, Ms. Kofer, if you can raise your right hand for me. Or are you on camera, ma'am?
No, hold on for 1 second. Can you see me?
Yes, Ms. Kofer, raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Me and my mom, we had just gotten into like a small dispute. It was really nothing major. I had braids in my hair, so she had just really pulled out like a couple of braids, and that was really it. I don't want to press charges on my mom.
Okay. Appreciate you being here this afternoon, Ms. Kofer. Ms. McLeod, good afternoon. Is this your case?
It is, Your Honor. Good afternoon. We are fine with the state's recommendation for bond and also with contact because my client does want to have contact with her daughter.
Okay. For each charge, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Deja Kofer. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Kofer.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. Thank you, Ms. McLeod.
You're welcome.
Are we done there, Francois?
Yes, thank you, Judge Morrow.
Okay, see y'all next time.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. McLeod, this is courtroom 2. We'll be calling you with Mr. Whitmer. I think he's another conflict. That was for Ms. McLeod.
Ms. McLeod, did she already leave? We'll see if we can get her back on the line. Ms. Grace, can you call Ms. McLeod to let her know that we might need her for another case? Ms. Grace, are you with me? Ms. Bridgewater, are you with me?
I am, sir. I will let Miss Grace know.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So we'll try to get her back on the line, courtroom 2.
Okay. Right now we have position number 13, Mr. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Mr. Thomas. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001965C with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. Got an open arson, first degree reckless conduct out of Clayton County. 2015 shoplifting arrest. That's it.
Mrs. Rocco?
No, this incident took place on, it was yesterday, April 14th at 2461 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. It's the Pizza Hut at the location. There was a 2-vehicle accident there. And the officer observed a third vehicle at the scene that was not involved in the accident, but was parked behind vehicle number 2 in the street. Upon investigation, they learned that the victim, Mr. Matthew Puckett, that's Matthew, Puckett, Puckett, that the driver of the third vehicle, the defendant, was not involved in the accident, but had walked up to him and asked if he was drunk or something before proceeding to grab the victim's keys and return, he took, he entered the victim's car, took his keys, and then like walked away with them. And then also took the victim's like camera equipment, a Canon video camera and a tripod out of the bed of the truck that the victim was driving, and then proceeded to place that in the street in front of the victim's car. So very strange case. After the defendant had tossed it in the street, he returned, waited for police, taken into custody there. We've spoken with the victim. He doesn't know the defendant, confirmed the events on the warrant, and he thankfully received all of his items back. Not really sure why the defendant took stuff out of his car, but nothing was damaged, and he does not want contact with the defendant. It is my understanding he will not be on Zoom today. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Matthew Puckett, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That's all.
Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Puckett. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thomas.
Next we'll go with position number 4, Mr. De Sosa.
Good afternoon, Mr. De Sosa. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001975Y with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Your history, Mr. Howard?
Boa tarde, senhor de Souza. Você está sendo aqui acusado com o processo 25CR001975Y com invasão da propriedade e também violência familiar. Tem algum registro de anteriores?
Não.
I got
No.
second cycle 2022 immigrant without a visa.
Eu tenho aqui escrito que seria como imigrante sem visto. And Your Honor, just respectfully, I don't know if you want to swear the interpreter or not. I have been sworn by another judge this morning, but just to, I always ask.
Yes, Madam. Thank you, Madam Interpreter. I'm sorry, I did not realize that this was the one that required your assistance. So if you raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Portuguese to English and English to Portuguese to the best of your ability?
I so swear, Adriana Williams. Thank you, Honor.
All right, thank you. You can continue. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred April 14th, 2025.
Esse acidente aconteceu no dia 14 de abril de 2025.
At 8060 Adair Lane, apartment 3006.
E no 806 Adela Lane, apartamento 3006.
Officers responded to a call in reference to a domestic dispute.
Os policiais responderam a uma ligação em relação a uma disputa doméstica.
And met with the victim, Elaine Paula, at the scene.
E encontraram com a vítima Elaine Paula no local.
Ms. Paula advised that her ex-boyfriend and her had gotten into an argument surrounding the breakup.
A senhora Paula, desculpa, a senhora Elaine falou que ela e o seu ex-namorado tinham tido um argumento em relação a eles terem terminado.
Ms. Paula advised officers that the defendant pushed her on the ground and kicked her in her back.
A senhora Paula falou para os policiais que o réu empurrou ela para o chão e aí deu chutes nas costas dela.
Officers observed visible bruising on the upper left side of Ms. Paula's back.
E os policiais observaram hematomas, marcas na parte de cima esquerda das costas da senhora.
Officers also observed holes in Ms. Paula's clothing.
Os policiais também observaram que tinham buracos na roupa dela.
Ms. Paula advised officers that the defendant took her phone and drove away to his house.
A senhora Paula disse que o réu pegou o telefone dela e dirigiu para a casa dele.
And that she had to walk all the way to his apartment to retrieve her phone.
e que ela teve que andar toda a distância até o apartamento dele para pegar o telefone de volta.
She knocked on the door and the defendant gave her her phone.
Ela bateu na porta e o réu deu o telefone para ela.
She was able to contact 911.
E ela então conseguiu entrar em contato com 911.
Officers arrived at defendant's apartment located at 583 North Ridge Road and knocked on the door.
Os policiais chegaram no apartamento do réu, que era na 583. Ma'am, can you repeat the address? 583?
North Ridge Road.
Thank you. No apartamento na rua 583 North Ridge Road.
And spoke with the defendant. He advised that he and Mrs. Paula had gotten into an argument.
Aí então eles conversaram com o réu e ele disse que ele e a senhora Paula tinham tido uma discussão.
And that the argument was in regards to a prior relationship.
E que a discussão foi em relação a um relacionamento anterior.
Okay. And we were unable to speak to the victim today, but based on this and the fact that there is another prior open case with the same victim, the state is recommending a $6,000 surety bond.
Nós não conseguimos falar com a vítima hoje, mas baseado por esse caso, esse incidente, que tem um caso anterior, um processo anterior, com a mesma vítima, com um processo anterior, nós estamos pedindo uma fiança no valor de $6.000 com caução.
And we want to note that the defendant is a flight risk based on his citizenship status.
E nós queremos dizer que existe esse risco de fuga para esse réu devido à sua situação de imigração.
And we ask for no contact with the victim and, of course, for the defendant to stay away from the victim.
E estamos pedindo para que ele não tenha nenhum contato com a vítima e que, obviamente, ele também não tenha e nem chegue perto da vítima.
And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
E também não pode ter uso de bebidas alcoólicas, drogas ou ter nenhuma arma de fogo, nenhum tipo de arma, desculpa, nenhuma arma durante o tempo de fiança.
Ms. Harrison, did you say that there was an open case with the same victim?
Yes, Your Honor. It's also on our docket today. I can give you the case number.
Senhora Harris, você disse que também tem um outro processo com a mesma vítima e a promotora disse sim, ele está na pauta de hoje, eu posso verificar o número aqui.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, I didn't see that there was position 4 and position 5.
Ok, desculpe, eu não vi que era a posição na pauta número 4 e número 5.
Do you want to go on to position 5? Let me just inform Mr. D'Souza that he's also charged in case 25 CR 001977Y with battery family violence.
Então, você quer falar sobre o processo número 5 e eu quero falar também com o senhor de Souza, que ele também está sendo acusado no processo número 25 CR 001977Y de violência doméstica.
Yes. That incident occurred on December 31st, 2023.
Esse incidente aconteceu no dia 31 de dezembro de 2023.
The incident location is 4503 Calibre, Calibre Creek Parkway in Roswell, Georgia.
Esse incidente aconteceu no 4503 Calibre Creek Parkway em Roswell, na Geórgia.
Police were dispatched to the incident location and met with the victim, Elaine Paula, outside of the apartment.
A polícia foi enviada para aquele local do incidente e encontrou com a vítima, a Elaine Paula.
The victim, Miss Paula, stated that she was looking at the defendant's phone and he struck her in the face with a closed fist.
A vítima falou que ela estava olhando o telefone do réu e ele bateu nela no rosto com um punho fechado.
The couple were in a relationship and residing together at the time with a roommate who intervened and had the defendant leave the residence.
O casal morava juntos naquela época, quando um colega de moradia interviu e separou e fez com que o réu saísse daquela casa no momento.
Officers observed Miss Paula to have a swollen lip with blood. They also noticed her right index finger was injured.
Os policiais observaram que ela tinha um lábio sangrando e inchado, e também tinha um dos dedos que estava, o dedo indicador, também machucado.
The defendant was not at the scene, but officers reviewed ring video camera footage and searched and did a deep search for the defendant through various databases in the state and found his immigration status.
Os policiais não acharam um réu no momento, mas utilizaram as câmeras daquele sistema Ring e fizeram buscas completas e conseguiram identificar, localizar o réu devido à sua situação de imigração.
They identified him for the warrant. So on that charge, the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond. And we do want to cite the same concerns of risk to flee and note that he did actively avoid arrest for this warrant for over a year. Of course, no further contact with the victim and a stay away. And no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Para esse processo, o Estado está pedindo uma fiança com caução de $3.000, e, obviamente, quer falar sobre as mesmas preocupações de que existe um risco para esse réu de fuga e que esse réu também tentou ser preso com um mandado de prisão durante 1 ano e que, obviamente, queremos também que fique longe da vítima e não tenha contato com a vítima e não tenha nenhum uso de álcool, drogas e tenha nenhum tipo de arma.
Okay, and we would just like to sound for the victim just in case she's on the call. I'm not sure that she is. I don't believe she is.
E nós queremos ver se, por acaso, a vítima está aqui pela ligação. Eu não creio que ela está, mas talvez esteja.
Ms. Harrison, do your notes indicate that Ms. Paula lives at the Adair Lane address?
She lives at yes, sir. That's her address, the Adair Lane address.
A senhora Harris quer ver se a senhora Paula mora no no endereço daquele endereço Adeline, e a promotora disse que sim, é lá que ela mora.
If Miss Elaine Paula is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
A senhora Elaine, se a senhora estiver aqui na ligação por vídeo e quiser falar com o juízo, essa é a sua oportunidade.
Does not appear so. Mr. Chitai?
Não parece que ela esteja aqui, senhor Chitaya.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 43 years old. He has a degree in engineering, and for the past 3.5 years that he's been here, he has worked in the construction industry.
Obrigado, juiz meritíssimo. Meu cliente tem 43 anos, ele é formado em engenharia e pelos últimos 3 anos e pouco que mora aqui, ele trabalha em construção.
Your Honor, given my client's 3.5 years of being in Georgia, and that he has a stable work history and that he has a very limited criminal history, I ask this court to consider a signature bond for both of his cases.
Meritíssimo, devido a que ele está há 3 anos e meio aqui morando na Geórgia, meu cliente, e tem tido trabalho estável aqui na Geórgia, e também tem antecedentes criminais limitados, estou pedindo que ele tenha uma fiança com assinatura nesses processos.
And that's all I have.
É tudo que tenho para falar.
Ms. Harrison, has a warrant been out for Mr. D'Souza's arrest since 2023 or early 2024?
Yes, Your Honor.
Senhora Harris, ele tinha um mandato de prisão para ele desde 2023, 2024? Sim, Excelência.
So for position number 4, the battery will be a $2,000 good bond. For the criminal trespass will be a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $2,500 good bond.
Então, para o primeiro processo de lesão, será uma fiança de $2.000 e também uma fiança de $500 por ter invadido, passado ou entrado sem autorização no local.
No further contact with Miss Elaine Paola. Stay away from her residential address on Adair Lane, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Nenhum contato com a senhora Elaine Paula, que ela não fique perto também do endereço dela, no Adeline Lane, no endereço dela, e não tenha nenhum contato, e que também não pode ter nenhum uso de drogas, bebidas alcoólicas e ter nenhuma arma enquanto estiver sob fiança.
For position 5, it will be a $2,000 good bond.
Para a posição 5, vai ter também uma fiança de $2.000.
No further contact with Ms. Paola. Stay away from the Adair Lane address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Além da fiança, nenhum contato mais com a senhora Elaine, não poder ficar perto também de nenhum do... Fiona, respectfully, can you just repeat the address? Adeline?
Adair Lane.
Adair, ok, thank you. E também não ter nenhum contato, nem chegar perto do endereço da Adair Lane, não ter nenhum contato, e também não pode ter drogas, bebidas alcoólicas ou álcool enquanto estiver sob fiança.
Good luck to you, Mr. De Souza.
Boa sorte para o senhor De Souza.
Okay. And thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate your assistance this afternoon.
My pleasure, Iona. Is there anything else I may do for you, Iona, or anyone else in the courtroom?
Do we need the Portuguese interpreter for anyone else today?
No, not in courtroom 2.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
So am I allowed to disconnect, Iona? I just don't want to disconnect and be needed. May I disconnect from the Zoom?
Yes, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a good afternoon. You all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry, Your Honor, can you repeat the last bond for
Yes, it's a $2,000 good bond.
Okay.
And
All right, you're good. Next, we'll go position number 15, Mr. Whitmore.
okay, and Ms. McLeod joined us again. Have you all contacted her?
Yeah, this is her case here.
Oh, okay, 15.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Whitmer. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001968G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6. 2016, possession of a Schedule 2 counts, sale of cocaine conviction, and a 04 simple battery DV conviction. That's
Okay. And is Ms. McLeod back on with us? Are you with us, Ms. McLeod?
She was, Judge. She must be signed back off.
Okay, I didn't see her there. That's why I was wondering. We'll have to wait till she gets back on with us. I'm not sure what's happened with her. Mr. Whitmer, we'll come back to you as soon as Ms. McLeod rejoins us.
Okay. All right. All right, we'll go position number 1, Mr. Banks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Banks. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001967J with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8. 2022 FTA, 2012 battery dismissed, 07 FTA.
Ms. Harrison?
This incident occurred on April 14th, 2025 at 1689 Detroit Avenue Northwest. Officers were dispatched to a fight in progress at the incident location. Upon arrival, they made contact with Mr. Joshua Banks, the victim here. Mr. Banks stated that he had a verbal altercation with his brother, the defendant, Mr. David Banks. He stated that the defendant intentionally damaged a television in his room, rendering it inoperable. This was witnessed by Ms. Barbara Banks, the mother of both individuals involved, and she stated that while she was upstairs, she saw the defendant enter the room and damage the television. In light of the defendant's prior FTAs, the state is recommending $1,000 surety bond with no further violent contact, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond.
Mr. Joshua Banks is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't appear so. Mr. Chatai?
Thank you, Judge. I ask this court to consider a signature bond instead. My client is 42 years old. He is a lifelong resident of Georgia. He graduated from Washington High School. And for the past 4 years, he's had stable employment. He's worked as a chef at Ocean Air Seafood Room. And for those reasons, I ask the court to consider a signature bond.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Joshua Banks. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Banks. Ms. McLeod is back with us if you want to go back to Mr. Whitmer.
Okay. Position number 15, Mr. Whitmer.
Okay. Ms. McLeod, do we need to go through Mr. Whitmer's history again?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Howard, can you give me the history again, please?
2016, possession of a Schedule 2 counts, sale of cocaine conviction, 04 batteries, DV, simple battery, DV conviction.
Thank you.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. So this incident, this was a delayed arrest. This took place on June 2nd, 2024 at 1870 Myrtle Drive in Atlanta. I believe that's an apartment complex of some sort. The law enforcement responded to report of an assault. The victim, Miles Whitmire, reported to APD that he and his brother, the defendant, were involved in a verbal dispute because it was over rent money. And during which the victim called the defendant a derogatory term. In response, the defendant struck the victim in the face and continued striking him, swinging more and more punches, put his arms up to defend himself. Their mother ultimately had to intervene here, Miss Shania Whitmire, that's Shonya. She had to intervene. The defendant had left the scene before police arrived, which is why he's coming to us today. From this incident, the victim ultimately sustained a laceration to his forehead and a laceration to his right elbow. Identified the defendant from a photographic lineup, and a warrant was then issued for the arrest. We have spoken with the victim in this case, confirmed they are brothers. They no longer live together at the incident location. He confirmed the events in the warrant, but stated that nothing like this has ever happened before, and that they have been in contact since with no issues. He says he wants to continue contact with the defendant. We would ask the court sound for him when appropriate. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, given that previous battery, simple battery, family violence, and it was also a cruelty to children conviction, 2004. We're asking for no further violent contact with Miles Whitmire. Stay away from 1870 Myrtle Drive, Atlanta, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Miles Whitmire is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, we are okay with just about everything the state has said.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, hold on, Mr. Whitmire. Let's see, Ms. McLeod. Let me go to Mr. I apologize. Let me go to Mr. Whitmire and see what he has to say. I'll be. Yes, you're not driving, are you, Mr. Whitmire?
No, I'm in the passenger seat.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
That we have never had before. We haven't had we've been resolved it ourselves and between our family. So I would just like them to be free.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, sir. Yes, you can continue, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, we agree with just about everything, but I think if the Myrtle Drive address is where either mom resides or the alleged victim also resides, that he should be able to go there. My understanding is that they've totally resolved the issue. They're getting along as brothers, or, as a family. So I don't think it is necessary to have a restriction for him to go there. Otherwise, we're fine with the bond condition, the signature bond to pretrial and no further violent contact.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further violent contact with Miles Whitmire. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Whitmire.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Is that Ms. McLeod's last case?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Back on, Ms. McLeod. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Have a good evening.
You too.
Your Honor, before we continue, we have Aaron Anthony. He was on the pull sheet, but he's not on the calendar. Is he going to be like an add-on or something?
He is an add-on, and Renee Rockwell is here for him.
Hi, Judge. Madam Prosecutor sent me the warrants, Judge, and also some other documents that I was looking at. As soon as I finished looking at everything you sent me, well, I just call you Anna. Sorry. But may I just wave to y'all, Judge, after I finish looking at all my
Oh, yes, that's fine.
receipts.
That's fine, Ms. Rockwell. Just let us know when you're ready. And that's is that Thompson that's the add-on?
Anthony.
The add-on is
It's Aaron Anthony, Judge.
Aaron Anthony. I received an add-on calendar, but there is no Aaron Anthony on that calendar. Is there a second add-on calendar?
There should be, Your Honor. It'll be coming, I'm sure. I guess the add-on is one you already addressed.
I have not received one as of yet.
Okay. I'll check with Mr. Jordan and make
Judge,
sure.
we had felony court this morning. I was looking at the bookend screen. He actually does have bonds on all charges, misdemeanors and felonies.
Okay, so if he already has bonds on those cases, do we need to address him this afternoon?
I can't answer that question, Judge. I'm really not qualified to answer that. But he does have, in other words, if a bonding company gets him out, I guess he gets out.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose for him being on this docket today would be if he didn't make bond, we would add some conditions or argue a different bond if we felt that that was appropriate. Otherwise, if he makes bond, then he makes bond without any further conditions.
And I show that add-on calendar.
All right, I'll just stand
through.
Okay, well, you all just let me know what you like for me to do this afternoon. So,
yes, Judge, I'll stand down. Thank you so much.
Okay. Who do we have next?
Petition number 3, Mr. Davis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001970B with simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Support the rest. 2015 paternity, 2010 DUI conviction.
Ms. Harrison?
That in 2015 wasn't.
This incident occurred on April 14th, 2025 at 991 Ada Avenue Northwest. Officers responded to a call made by Brianna Brayboy, the victim. When they arrived at the scene, she was no longer at the scene. They made contact with the defendant, who stated that he'd been involved in a verbal dispute with his girlfriend over a trip to the grocery store. The defendant stated that while the argument was ongoing, he started to prepare food for his children. And Ms. Brayboy started an argument with him and called him a derogatory term, which I will not state, which caused him to knock a plate out of her hands. The incident got a little out of control. Ms. Brayboy grabbed the children and left the residence. When the officers arrived on the scene, Ms. Brayboy returned to the scene and spoke to the officers. She confirmed the dispute was over the defendant not going to the grocery store. The pair are currently in a relationship. They share 2 children together, and they have been residing together since January of 2018. We did speak to the victim. She does wish to continue having contact. So we are asking for a signature bond through pretrial services with no further violent contact, and requesting the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And the state would like to sound for Ms. Brianna Brayboy. That'll be all for the state.
Ms. Brayboy is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Doesn't appear so. Any objection to any of that, Mr. Chitai?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. As such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Brayboy, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll go to position number 5, Mr. Dorsey.
Say that.
What number?
Say that again for me.
Number 5, Mr. Dorsey.
That's not on my calendar.
Oh, he got. Oh, he's not. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, we'll go with position number 7, Mr. Gibbs.
Okay. Is this okay? Good afternoon, Mr. Gibbs. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001973C with fare evasion, 2 counts of willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, giving false information to law enforcement officer, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 5th arrest. We got an open ag assault in Superior Court. It's 25 PI 001632. Got an open trespass in DeKalb County. 2010 simple assault PTI, 2016 criminal damage dismissed, and appears to be homeless.
Okay, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from yesterday, the 14th, at the West Peachtree Street MARTA station. That's 1255 West Peachtree Street. The defendant was seen walking in and recognized he's a person with a permanent ban that had been issued to him March the 2nd of 2025. Once he was engaged by officers, he took flight. He locked his arms together to try to prevent officers from cuffing him and refused to put his hands behind his back. He gave a false name of Jail Hill. And ultimately was taken into custody. He does have that open aggravated assault. He was just released from custody on March the 2nd, 2025. That is also a MARTA incident. We're asking for $1,000 surety to stay away from all MARTA stations or locations, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd ask for a social worker for some kind of assessment. There's clearly a housing issue, but there may be some other concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chitai.
Thank you, Your Honor. I ask this court to consider the lowest surety amount possible. My client is 31 years old. He is a lifelong resident of the state of Georgia. He graduated from college and earned his degree in business administration. And currently he's unemployed. He's looking for work. Your Honor, given his precarious situation, I would ask the court for those reasons to consider the lowest surety amount possible.
Okay, for each charge, it will be a $200 good bond, makes for a total $1,000. MARTA, a social worker visit to assess for BHET, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Gibbs.
Your Honor, will you repeat that? You were chopping up real bad.
Yes, a $200 good bond per charge makes
Oh.
what a $1,000 good bond.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Who do we have next?
Position number 8, Mr. Mansell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mansell. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001974B with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
2014 sale of marijuana conviction. 2011 ag assault burglary. And before that was a vehicle homicide charge from the 90s.
Sally?
Thank you, Your Honor. My information shows the defendant's criminal history is somewhat remote, although violent and felonious in nature. This is an incident from the 13th of April at about 11 p.m. Police were called to a residence at 2207 Bigwood Trail. There, they met with a witness outside the location who reported that one roommate, the defendant in front of you, had gotten into an altercation with another roommate and strangled her by holding her down on the stairwell with her neck against the railing. The witness told police that she witnessed this incident. She told the defendant in front of you multiple times to let go of the victim. The victim's name is Nakia Campbell. Eventually, the defendant let go of the victim's neck, and the victim was gasping for air as she was strangled, and afterwards, obviously, was upset. The witness reported that the defendant came home intoxicated, that they all hung out and were drinking, that the victim in this case, Nakia Campbell, is his ex-girlfriend who's living at the location. And ultimately, when police spoke to Ms. Campbell, what she explained is that another woman had been brought into the home. The defendant explained that this other woman was in fact a family member of his coming to visit, and he was allowing her to stay. And she realized that the woman was not in fact one of his family members, but was his new girlfriend. She acknowledged that she was grabbed by the neck and that there was an argument. We did speak to Mrs. Campbell today. She said that she was able to get breath, which is why she was seen gasping, because of how she was defending herself from being grabbed by the neck. The documents out of South Fulton specifically say she sustained no injuries as a result of this incident. Mrs. Campbell reported that they share no children, and nothing like this has ever happened before. She says she wants to continue contact. It's the state's position that continuing to live all in the same household is probably not the best idea. We're asking for a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor, and to stay away from Mrs. Campbell, no contact with Ms. Campbell, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. You'd sound for Ms. Campbell, please. Thank you.
Ms. Nakia Campbell is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity.
I don't at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Mr. Chatai?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client would like to ask the court to consider a signature bond instead. My client is 51 years old. He's been living in the state of Georgia for the past 40 years. He got his GED, and for the past 3 years, he's had stable employment. He has been a lead operator for a warehouse in store distribution. He also informed me that his mother passed away recently, and he's trying to keep the house that belonged to his mother. And he's also trying to keep his car. For those reasons, he tells me that a signature bond would be appropriate for him. So that's what I would like to ask the court to consider.
Okay. It will be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 3 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Campbell. While Ms. Campbell is living at the Bigwood Trail address, he cannot live there, so he can have a one-time escort to retrieve any belongings from the Bigwood Trail address. If Ms. Campbell moves from that address, then of course he can go back to it. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Mansell.
Next we go with position number 10, Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Miller. You have been charged in, good afternoon, sir. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001978A with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
45. 2024 trespass conviction, 2024 FTA, 2023 shoplifting conviction, 2023 FTA, 2021 ag assault with deadly weapon, 2020 deadly missile throw conviction, Florida, criminal damage to property conviction, 2017 resistant officer conviction, and 2 trespass convictions from 08.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from yesterday, April the 14th, at the Shell gas station at 556 Northside Drive, Southwest. The defendant was previously criminally trespassed from that location, actually had a 24 CR case for a period of time that was open. Eventually, it was dismissed at trial when no one from that location came to testify as a victim. He was issued a most recent criminal trespass on the 11th of April there at the location. It is a permanent ban from the property. On the 14th, he was seen there harassing customers in and outside of the store and making threats to the workers there. Police were called and they arrested the defendant. I would note he's got an open felony shoplifting case. He's on a signature bond through pretrial level 3 that he was issued in July. That deals with the Barnes & Noble and staying away from all Georgia Tech locations. He has a criminal trespass conviction from 2024. And he's failed to appear in July of 2024 as well. So we're asking for a $1,000 surety bond, Your Honor, to stay away from the location there at Northside Drive, the Shell gas station, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd request a social worker visit to assess whether there needs to be some support for housing or mental health.
Thank you. Ms. McClain?
Your Honor, is Sherry Myers, his mother, on the Zoom yet?
No, I'm not on there.
No,
I'm not.
on.
I can try to get.
She's not on. She just answered me through the phone. Your Honor, this is a case where if I go into the MH issues, we should do that confidentially. I just now got hold of her. It took a while to get hold of his mom. We've dealt with Mr. Miller before a few months back, and we're trying to get some medical records. I'll have a social worker visit the MH issues, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. McClain, I think what I want to do is give you the opportunity to look into those issues. I won't hold him until that 29th calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, can we place this case on the SAP calendar for next Tuesday, the 22nd?
Yes, sir, I will.
Okay, that should give you enough time, Mr. McClain. At this time, it's going to be a $1,000 good bond, social worker visit, or Mr. McClain, if you will, speak with his mother and see if he has some services that are currently available. I'll consider those. Stay away from that Shell gas station on Northside Drive. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Let's not let Mr. Miller slip through the cracks. Please get in touch with Mr. White or Ms. Kim at the SAP calendar to let them know that Mr. Miller is going to be coming through possibly, and I'll take a look at it again next Tuesday. Okay.
Very good, and I'll share his mother's number with them.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Good luck to you, Mr. Miller. Good luck.
Next, we'll go to position number 14, Mr. Ward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ward. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001971J with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, 2 counts, disorderly conduct, simple battery against a police officer, and escape of custody confinement. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
24. We got an open possession of heroin out of Superior Court. On probation out of CARB for obstruction, terrorist threats. 2023 simple battery, that's open in state court. 23 CR 007 136J. 2020 FTA. 2014 ag assault conviction. 2012 battery conviction.
Mr. Siraka?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place yesterday, April 14th at 30 Alabama Street, Atlanta, which is the MARTA station there. Law enforcement was on patrol at the MARTA station when the defendant started beating on the glass of the post where the officer was standing, trying to get a free ride, and he became unruly, screaming obscenities, cursing. The officer had told him to leave, per MARTA's policy. Noticed a pungent smell of alcohol coming from him, as well as that he had dilated pupils. He refused multiple instructions to leave. And when officers attempted to handcuff him, he ran from one of the officers and continued resisting when they had to take him to the ground, ultimately to get him in custody. While in custody, the defendant at the precinct asked to use the restroom. And afterwards, he ran out of the cell and into an office. And ultimately, officers were able to regain control of the defendant. But during that, he had kicked one of the officers in the leg. He has I see previous giving false information to law enforcement, conviction 2011, same conviction 2012, only with that there's a battery conviction as well. Ag assault conviction 2015, willful obstruction and terroristic threats and acts conviction 2024. And he's also, there's another arrest for willful obstruction 2020. I don't have the disposition for that. But yes, there is that simple battery as well. That was actually another MARTA PD arrest, that time at Lindbergh Station, where the defendant is accused of walking up to a victim, a MARTA patron there, and striking him in the jaw. He received a 4,000 signature bond from Judge Mincy for that. That case is now in Judge Besson's courtroom. Given this would be the 5th criminal case involving law enforcement, 3 of which were convictions, and his 5th criminal case where violence is committed or threatened, 3 of which were convictions. The other one I'm referring to is that open simple battery in Besson. The defendant is exhibited both violent tendencies and a consistent disregard for the officers of the state, their sacrifices and now their safety, and he poses a risk of reoffense. As such, the state's recommendation for the disorderly conduct is a $500 surety bond. For the 2 counts of willful obstruction, a $1,000 surety bond on each, a $1,000 surety bond on the escape charge, and a $1,500 surety on the simple battery against a law enforcement officer, for a total of $5,000 surety. ADET, stay away from all MARTA premises and property, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That's all for the state.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, 35-year-old Antonio B. Ward is a high school graduate who has worked in restaurants for the last 10 years. He asked the court to consider a bond that would ensure his return to court.
Okay, for the simple battery against a police officer will be a $1,000 good bond. For each of the other charges will be a $500 good bond each. Makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. Stay away from MARTA. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ward. Who do we have there, courtroom 2?
Add on number 1, Mr. Anthony.
Good afternoon, Mr. Anthony. You have been charged in case 25 CR 001983E with reckless driving, no insurance, driving while your license was suspended or revoked, and fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, 2020 probation. 2014 open container, uninsured motor vehicle conviction. 2013 failed to give him proper signal conviction.
Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, this is an incident from the 20th of March this year, 2025. Officers observed the defendant driving a white Ford Explorer. They were able to run the information on that vehicle, and it returned back to him being the registered owner and also being unlicensed, having had his license suspended on the 13th of March. He was driving up Calhoun Street, or Cahoon, maybe Street Southwest. I think it's Cahoon, at a high rate of speed towards police. He was observed driving recklessly. The officers' cars were marked. He then backed into his driveway a few houses down. Officers made contact with the driver there at 1745. The LED headlights were still on. They tried to check. Somebody had left the vehicle, although the lights were on. They also noticed and got verification that the insurance on the vehicle was invalid. They did a knock and talk at the location, and then another vehicle pulled up. A female there said they didn't know anybody who drives that vehicle. Someone at 1747 also said they didn't know. So the vehicle tow process was started as a tow truck showed up. A black male tried to hop into the vehicle that was there in the driveway that police had seen flying down the street, and he tried to leave in the car. Officers told him to get out of the car and unlock the door. He refused to do that. He backed up in the car and tried to flee the scene. Officers had to pursue him in their vehicle, and that was also him going down Cahoon Street recklessly, and a bolo was put out for him, and an arrest warrant was obtained. And so when he was arrested yesterday, I believe these warrants were still active. He was in felony court this morning for being a felon in possession of a firearm that was discovered during another traffic stop. His history includes lots of driving recklessly and driving without a license. We're asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor, that he not drive without the proper license documents and requirements of a vehicle, and have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Did he get a bond on this in felony court, Miss Allen?
He didn't get a bond on this case, Your Honor. He had a $1,000 bond on the reckless driving, a $600 bond on no insurance, $600 on no license, and a $1,000 bond on fleeing. That was given when the warrants were signed, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Ms. Rockwell, good afternoon.
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon, Judge. That's correct. He did get a bond this morning on his felonies. Judge, for the record, he was born in Washington, D.C., but has been in the state since he's 2 years of age. Attended Tri-Cities High School, also attended Miles College in Birmingham for college, where he studied business administration. He is not married, no children, is the owner of Y, as in Yankee, B as in Bravo, Exotics. And that is an exotic car rental place. What I know is that besides the case that he dealt with this morning, Judge, he's not on probation, parole, or any kind of suspended sentence, nor does he have any other open cases. I would ask the court to set a reasonable bond with conditions. Actually, the bonds are really already set, so, I mean, the bonds are reasonable, Judge.
Okay. I'm going to make it a $500 good bond on each charge, make for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Judge, I'll just text Madam Prosecutor directly. If you could just, Madam Prosecutor, send me that accusation number, please, ma'am.
I'll make sure you have everything you need.
Thank you so much. And Judge, y'all have a good holiday. Thank you.
You're the same,
Bye-bye.
Mr. Cockrell. Good luck to you, Mr. Anthony.
We'll go with add-on number 2, Mr. Thompson. Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 001982A with simple battery, family violence, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Well, on probation for burglary, theft by taking, criminal damage to property, second degree, fleeing an officer, hit and run. It's 18 SC 162802. Also, possession of marijuana with intent obstruction, criminal attempt to commit burglary, 2016 and 2015 FTAs, and he has 3 probation holds. So,
Thank you. Mr. Siraka?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place on April 14th, 2025. So yesterday at 10:50 Hammond Drive in Sandy Springs, law enforcement had responded to a domestic dispute call at the location, and upon arrival spoke with the victim, Emily Sneed, who explained that she had gotten into an argument with her boyfriend, the defendant, who lives with her at the incident location. The victim explained the defendant had become angry, kicked open the bathroom door and threw a metal canteen at her, striking her in her right hand. She also stated the defendant had hit her in the back of the neck, but then became uncooperative and wouldn't provide additional information. Defendant had left the scene prior to law enforcement's arrival, and he was located by one of the officers who, in full uniform, the defendant saw, fled, and ignored subsequent commands from said officer to stop fleeing. After a search, he was found ultimately hiding in the bushes after a search at like 990 Hammond Drive, at which point he was placed under arrest. He has that among his convictions, I see burglary, willful obstruction. There's a slew of them in 2019, but most relevantly, burglary, willful obstruction of law enforcement, fleeing and eluding, hit and run, criminal damage to property in the second degree, and manufacture, possession, distribution, sale of marijuana, 2019. And then also I see a possession of marijuana with intent to distribute and obstruction in 2019. There are other arrests for willful obstruction, 2013, disposition unknown, and the same situation for a willful obstruction and a simple assault case from 2018. I see that he was, as of February 4th of this year, wanted out of Atlanta for parole violations for several of those cases from 2019. I can list them for you if you want, but 2 of which I've just listed. They're 18 SC 162802, 18 SC 160889, and 18 SC 160706. We've spoken with the victim in this case. They are in a relationship. They do live together at the incident location. It's an extended stay. And they don't share children. She's explained that this is not, she didn't call the police in this, but she believes someone heard them arguing, she says, and called. She's confirmed the events in the warrant, but stated she never wanted the police involved and doesn't wish for this case to move forward. She stated they've had some physical altercations in the past, but never to this extent. So this seems to be an escalation. She stated she's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. We would ask the court sound for her when appropriate. I will say we did listen to the jail calls. Defendant has apologized, and there was discussion about whether her mom would be willing to pay his bond, to which she said, not if I tell her what happened. And he asked her actually not to tell her mom what happened. Given that this is far from the first willful obstruction case, this would actually be his fifth, 2 priors being convictions, and that this is not their first physical altercation either. It's just the first one that police have responded to. And from what it sounds like, it was a report from a third party, a concerned citizen, and not her, who had the wherewithal and the care to call. We're concerned from her safety and the possibility of future violent incidents. As such, the state's recommendation on each count is a $1,500 surety bond. No further contact with Emily Sneed. Stay away from 1050 Hammond Drive, Sandy Springs, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
If Miss Emily Sneed is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Yes. Good afternoon,
yes.
Sneed. If you'd like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Well, first, I'm not trying to be rude, but I found it astonishing that Mr. Scirocco, I apologize if I mess up your name, that you went so hard on Ashton. First of all, he got out in 2019, and he hasn't had like any issues. Like he hasn't been back to jail, arrested since he got out in, what is that, 2023, 2024. So I mean, can we give a Black man his kudos for, trying to stay on the right path? So that's number one. And number two, like, the physical, like, yeah, that's our first big physical situation. And really someone called because the windows were left up in our hotel room. We don't live there. By the way, we were just staying there. We're actually dealing with homelessness right now. So that's really probably has something to do with his probation violation for his other cases. And we're just trying to make it the best we can, honestly. He was doing good as far as his work. He was changing oil and also doing security. I am, a former educator now, and I'm going through my own mental things. He's going through things as well. So, I mean, it was just a rocky morning, a high stress morning, and we forgot the windows were up. So of course people are right there, so they hear, and I'm on my time of the month. So I mean, I'm gonna just throw it out there. So yeah, I apologize for that, but I mean, it is what it is. I stopped being cooperative with the police once I realized that they were not there to really assist to that point. And they were asking a lot of questions. And so yeah, I stopped becoming cooperative because then I realized they're trying to take my man to, like, they're trying to, I don't know, capture him.
So Ms. Sneed, I was told that this has happened before. Is that the case?
No, no, sir, not to, no. I don't know what, like, why my words got misconstrued to that extent, but no, sir. My parents love him. I'm an only child, and my parents are strict about who I bring home, and they love him. So, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to speak like this on the Zoom, but I don't appreciate someone slandering him. Like, there's been other people on here that I feel like should have had a higher bond or whatever, but then you give him a 1,500 bond. Like, that's a lot. For what, sir?
Well, Ms. Sneed, it's a recommendation from the state. I'm the one that gives him the bond, okay?
Okay.
So, and I'm listening to you and taking it into account what you're telling me. But nobody is slandering anybody. Mr. Sirocco is doing his job, and he is reading from what he's got on the report and what the criminal history was. The criminal history is what it is, okay? So, are you afraid of him?
No, sir, not at all.
And are you all still living at that extended stay?
No, we were not allowed to stay there anymore since the police came.
And do you want to tell me what happened on the date of this incident?
We just, I mean, honestly, it just boils down to we woke up cranky. Like, I was in the restroom, and he came in asking me questions, and I'm bad at waking. I had just woke up, so I don't like being questioned when I'm waking up. And I'm like, I had an attitude, not like really verbal, but I had an attitude. You know, it's my woman time. So I do have an attitude, and I don't want to be bothered. And I'm not really saying anything. Of course, I know that kind of pisses him off. But so we do end up having like a verbal dispute later on, like a little bit like right after that. He doesn't like being shut out, and I don't like being shut out. And sometimes sometimes we can be petty. And again, it's first thing in the morning, and I'm pretty much just being a female. And again, we did not realize the windows were left up from the night prior. We fell asleep watching TV, so yeah, we didn't realize the windows was up. Some people were out there, they heard, and they called. And that's pretty much it. I just feel like personal business is personal. I'm not scared of him in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's my person. And so yesterday was probably one of the hardest days of my life, because I'm dealing with homelessness, and then the person that I love got, I didn't expect for him to be taken away. So.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Sneed.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, it's heard quite a bit of detail already, Your Honor. Let me see if I can add anything to it. He is 30 years old. He did get out of prison on those other charges and has pretty much stayed out of trouble. We've heard from Ms. Sneed the nature of the issue and the argument. I would point out that his obstruction was not charged as anything but not cooperating. They said that they told him he wasn't free to leave and that he went to the bushes instead, but he wasn't offering violence. Of course, it's not a felony obstruction. Given those matters, Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider a signature bond for this.
All right. For the simple battery, it'd be $1,000 good bond. For the obstruction, a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond. No further violent contact with Ms. Sneed. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Thompson.
Position number 11, Mr. Mitchell, he waived.
Okay. And what about position 9, Mr. Merriweather?
He made bond.
Brother, he bonded out. He made-
Okay. Okay, Mr. Mitchell, position number 11, charged in case 25 CR 001969J with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and loitering and prowling. The history, Mr. Howard.
11. Yes, 2 probation holds, 1 out of Cobb County. It's a lot. They got open entering auto out of the cab. Open case out of Fulton for ag assault, possession of a knife or firearm during the commission. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. 24 PR 009338. On probation for felony theft by receiving. Possession of a handgun under 18 years of age, carrying a weapon without a valid license. What else? On probation for felony theft by taking. 2024 FTA, 2022 FTA.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from yesterday at about 8:20 p.m. at the parking lot at 200 Peachtree Street. The defendant was seen wearing a mask on a scooter, pulling on the door handles of vehicles in the parking lot where he did not have a vehicle. He was on a scooter. Officers saw him, made contact with him. He fled on his scooter, disobeying verbal commands from police. Ultimately, he eventually gave up and was taken into custody. The information you just got from pretrial is correct. He's got more than 2 or 3 failures to appear in the last 2 years. He's got an active probation violation. He's currently on bond for an aggravated assault in Superior Court, and he is supposed to have a 24-hour curfew and an ankle monitor. That bond was issued January the 15th of 2025. He has multiple felony convictions for theft related crimes, Your Honor. So not only is he a risk to reoffend, he's in violation of a bond. He refuses to follow court orders. I'm pretty sure being on 24-hour curfew and having an ankle monitor doesn't mean you get to be pulling on car handles and riding around on a scooter downtown at 8:20. So we're asking for a $5,000 surety bond to stay away from that location at 200 Peachtree Street and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, 22-year-old Davion Mitchell does have a stable address. He's got stable phone numbers. He's got his grandmother and his mother's phone number as well as his own. He does have those holds, so he whatever happens today, he won't go immediately to freedom. He does have a 10th grade education from Washington High School and will be working on that further. He has done landscaping. He has driven as a driver in delivery situations like the Uber Eats and similar things. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond for this situation. He'll deal with the other things as well. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond here.
Okay, for each charge, it'll be a $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from 200 Peachtree Street. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Okay, I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, whenever you're ready for us.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is April the 29th. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through pretrial. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 4 is going to the SAP calendar for April the 15th with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 5 is going to the SAP calendar for April the 15th with a $2,000 good bond. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 7 is going to the SAP calendar for April 29th with a total $1,000 good bond. 8, reset further notice with a $10,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 9 is reset further notice. The defendant has been released. Position 10 is going to the SAP calendar for April 22nd with a $1,000 good bond. Position 11 is going to the April 29th SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 12, SAP calendar, April 29th with a total $1,000 good bond. Position 13 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 14, the SAP calendar for April 29th with a total $3,000 good bond. 15 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. To the add-on calendar, position number 1 is going to the April 29th SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. And position number 2, SAP calendar for April 29th for a total $1,500 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
Let's see, I believe there's a question from the Motorola. Mr. Miller. Maybe
Oh
she
no, I
just,
had asked her who was she here for, and she replied to everyone instead of just me. But I told her he got $1,000 good bond.
okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, if there's nothing.
I don't know who M. Hall is though.
All right, does anyone else have any business before the court?
It's not.
Okay, doesn't appear so then. All right, I'll see you all next time. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Happy Easter,
Thank you, Judge. You
everyone.
too.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.